Hello, I am ThatBuilderBoi, and welcome back to the first series of Swamp League. Last time out, we saw Deadeye use its very powerful dual vertical bar spinners completely decimate the competition. We are at the final heat, so let's see our final batch of robots to try and book their place into next week's final. First up, we have Flashback, who interestingly is a reserve. They had to take the place of a bot in the last minute, so hopefully their Thagomizer style attack will cause some issues for the rest of the field that probably weren't prepared for them. Shiken's last spot in this series is another vertical spinner. It's Requiem, a four-wheel drive one that's very wide and looks pretty damn cool. Problem is that its wheels are very exposed and its rear is quite a big target as well. Originally, the only Thagomizer style bot in this heat is Steggers. With an undercutting bar, they have a not so unique attack, but they can also hit hard. The only problem is that their wheels are pretty dang exposed and its long sides are pretty vulnerable. And the final robot to be introduced this series is the compact flipper bot of Tesseract from Chaotic Robotics. It's very speedy. The problem is that it has a very low ground clearance. While that is beneficial that it's a flipper, it can get high centered pretty easily. So let's see how that will do. The field is set for our final heat of the series, so let's see Flashback and Requiem take to the arena.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So this is it, our final heat. Already in the grand finals, we have Innoxious by Duck, Bojangler by Duck, Up and Away by Shiken, Dankton by Chaotic, Capsize by Shiken, and last week's heat winner Deadeye also by Shiken. And well, we are kicking things off here with Flashback and Requiem. Should be a bit of a grudge match this. Duck obviously had the lead, having two of his machines make it through to the grand finals, but only last heat Shiken was able to break that record. I'm sure Duck is looking for revenge here with his machine Flashback with that unique, ThatBuilderBoi called it a Thagomizer style attack. I just call it just absolutely smacking your opponent in the face with a nasty backhand. A bit of a clothesline maneuver. Requiem, meanwhile, has that egg beater weapon, and they are looking to absolutely beat and pummel Flashback here, throwing Flashback around. Now, Flashback, will it have the miracle reserve run that real-life Road Wars competitors Stegosaurus and TR2 had in real life, or will it be like Binky? Only time will tell, really. And well, Requiem definitely bringing in the pain here at the moment, as Flashback hopping and bouncing about at the minute, and a huge hit there by Requiem. I did mention Stegosaurus, we'll probably be mentioning them a couple more times throughout this heat, I reckon. With Steggers later on, of course, competing. Requiem, though, the egg beater weapon, looking to absolutely smack Flashback, hoping to return all of their momentum to zero. And a huge hit there by Flashback. Flashback hopping and bouncing away. I will say with Requiem, I did get a special letter from the producers of this to keep my JoJo references to an absolute minimum. So thankfully we're all spared from that. But Flashback not spared from the onslaught of the egg beater weapon of Requiem. And well, although Flashback definitely coming with a big hit, it's bringing in the big hits, knocking them away. But if you look at the damage, Requiem has definitely been the more damaging. Definitely will be winning on weapon effectiveness if this were to go to the judges. But I don't think it's going to go to the judges. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it will if Flashback digs down deep. But the damage it's suffering, it has suffered a lot of damage. And Requiem are just smacking him about here. The egg beater weapon looking ferocious. And just as I thought, Flashback well and truly destroyed. And well, Flashback can't rewind time here to get a rematch with Requiem as well. That Requiem just walked all over them. Absolutely mullered them. And a Shiken machine is looking to take the heat by storm once again. Poor Flashback. Poor Flashback. Was absolutely mangled. Oh dear.
Flashback wishes that had a way to turn back time, but Requiem now tops the heat. It's time for our final first round fight between Steggers and Tesseract.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
We've seen Stegosaurus, we've seen Steg 2, we've seen 3 Stegs to Heaven, we've even seen our Block. But now it's time that Steggers, the new Steg machine, graces the robot combat world. No relation to the actual Stegosaurus team, they didn't make it. It's just made by ThatBuilderBoi, who is a very big Stegosaurus fanboy. But then again, can you really blame him? We love Stegosaurus on this channel. We love Stegosaurus, okay? Tesseract, meanwhile, looks very familiar to a robot, to a real-life robot, but I can't quite put my finger on who. Well, what a huge flip there by Tesseract, just watching on there. Damn, that flipper has some insane power behind it. The robot a lookalike to a machine that we can't quite figure out who it's a lookalike to. Definitely getting a good look in so far. Throwing Steggers about here, and well, I'd love to see Steggers go through here. It'll be nice to see that one of Builder's machines make it through to the grand finals. But Chaotic Robotics is looking to have more than one go through. He's only had one so far, the meme machine Dankton, and well, Steggers, I think there was a bit of a glitch there. I think it's glitched into the pulverizers. That is a very, very bizarre glitch. I think that's the first time we've seen that this series, and I think Builder is going to have to use the unstick feature. I think that's what's going to happen here, I'm afraid. A very frustrating use of the unstick, the resets. I feel more an issue with the game as opposed to Tesseract's driving ability, Chaotic's driving ability. Although they did get Steggers there in the first place. Not only do you have to fight your opponents, you also have to fight the arena hazards as well and steer clear of them and use them as weaponry. And with Tesseract not having a damaging weapon, it has to use the arena hazards to cause the damage, to lower Steggers' power. Although, well, with all these flips, it's definitely scoring the weapon effectiveness thus far. Steggers, poor Steggers, really struggling here. And again, thrown directly into the arena wall. He's got a little happy face on the back, but I don't think the dinosaur is going to be too happy to be here after, well, getting thrown about. I think it's going to be very dizzy. Very dizzy. Maybe a little bit queasy. Might throw up a little bit. Oh, God, I hope not. I don't want to think about robots throwing up. Ugh. That's a really grim thought, actually. Sorry for putting that thought in your heads, people. Steggers getting thrown about here by Tesseract, trying to get in underneath and flip Steggers about. Trying to really throw them here. Trying to really launch them and throw them. Steggers flipped up and over yet again. Being flipped about here. And Tesseract looking to get in behind and flip Steggers out. It is going to go to a judge's decision, though. And, well, can Tesseract do it? Can Tesseract get the ring out before cease is called? It doesn't look like it. It's going to go to the judges. Well, our first judge's decision of the evening. And, well, that was a very, very good battle. But that was all Tesseract here. Just throwing Steggers all over the arena floor. Chaotix has built a very, very impressive flipper here. If this machine goes through, I'd love to see it go up against Up and Away. The two flippers duking it out. But for now, well, it still has two other machines to go through. They definitely went through the dinosaur, proved that it can walk the dinosaur, and, well, while it won't be the 3 points, it will be points nonetheless for Tesseract. They win the judge's decision for me, that's for sure. As for Steggers, though, they've really got to pick up the pace if Builder wants to get one of his machines through to the finals.
The winner, by unanimous decision, is Tesseract. A valiant effort from our Jurassic machine, but Tesseract was just too much. They fight again against the really deadly looking Requiem.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Really is a shame that these two machines have been drawn in the same heat, as they both could have very easily have been heat winners. One of the most powerful flippers in the wars versus one of the best spinners I've seen. Requiem obviously destroying Flashback in no time, Tesseract struggled more as Steggers, only winning on a judge's decision. And well, I think to beat Requiem, you need to do it by KO, you need to do it by ring out, or else that egg beater is gonna kill ya. And it's gonna kill ya hard. And a huge hit there onto the underbelly of Tesseract. Shiken has made some very impressive spinners throughout, but I really think Requiem is the most impressive one. Probably the most damaging, the most destructive weapon we've seen thus far. Although Tesseract flipping Requiem about here, but look at that, look already. Tesseract has already suffered a lot of damage already. The match hasn't even gone past the first minute barrier. And well, Tesseract is already reeling from the hit. Just flipping the flipper to try and stay in the action. And Requiem launching Tesseract into the ceiling just then, into the roofs. That will give you a bit of a head rush, that's for sure. Requiem trying to bring in that egg beater weapon to cause in some more damage. And when I say try, well, it's definitely succeeding at that try, that's for sure. Because this machine, it just batters robots. It chews them up, it spits them out, it, well, throws them about. That's what it does. It's vicious, it's scary, it's brutal. Although Tesseract, hang on a minute, in my praise, Requiem hopping and bouncing about, Tesseract looking to take advantage and perhaps, well, eliminate Requiem here. Flip them over and out of the competition. Well, not out of the competition, but get the 3 points. And I think if it gets a ring out here, oh wait, I think it's going to get a ring out, and I think that'll be a major shock if it does. If Tesseract is able to beat Requiem, Requiem just clinging on by a thread. Although, well, I think it's a ring out. It is a ring out. And well, that is a shocker in my opinion. That is a shocker. I thought Requiem, after that first performance, well, I thought they were going to walk through this heat, but I feel after a win like that, that has left the doorways wide open for Tesseract, taking out the biggest threat of the heat of the lot, very skillfully flipping them out the arena. Very, very impressive, very good. And look at the fight. It was all Requiem for such a long time. I thought Tesseract would go home in a bin bag like Flashback did. But no, not this time. It was that flip that proved fatal, as Requiem got wrung out.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, Tesseract is now topping the heat. And now a fight that I've really been looking forward to, the two Thagomizer style robots will do battle. Let's see Steggers versus Flashback in the arena.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Halfway through our final heat, and well, we have two machines that, well, work in a very similar way. Already proving to be very tentative, both machines are, and it's Flashback that gets the big hit. This is going to be like a good old-fashioned MMA fight. Two sluggers going at it, patiently waiting their chance to punish the other. And already, I think the spines of Steggers have been removed. Although that is only superficial damage, that is not major damage, that is just purely superficial, just for a bit of fun, really. And Steggers, Flashback looks to have the bigger spinner. Although Steggers, come on, we got to see Steggers get a win here. Although they are already stuck, they are already high-centered, so a reset, the unstick, the reset has to be used here. And immediately, using its second chance very well here is Steggers, coming in with a huge hit down to Flashback. And again, we are getting some really crazy game physics with this one. This is already looking to be a really, really fun battle, this is. Oh my goodness me! Wow! The momentum, that battle has changed completely. It looked to be very even until that moment. Flashback able to remove a wheel of Steggers. And Steggers definitely reeling here. That is major, major points for Flashback in weapon effectiveness, knocking off a wheel. Although Flashback, I think Flashback is stuck now. I think Flashback is going to have to use the reset. But Steggers, they're not driving okay. That bot ain't right. That bot certainly ain't right. Well, both machines have had to unstick at least once, so if one of these machines gets stuck one more time, it is game over for the machine. Steggers, they need to remove a wheel of Flashback if they want to equalize, maybe hit them into the ring out zone, although I don't think it's happening. Steggers looks to be stuck again. The spinner, although freeing them, although I think it's moving them more to the ring out zone. Oh, this is a sad sight. Steger's such a fun-loving machine, but Flashback just, well, absolutely smacks them, and they are going to get the win.
Cease.
Well, that was a very, very good battle. Very evenly matched both machines are. We thought it would be. They're both very similar machines, very similar shapes, very similar philosophies, although it was a very, very crucial moment that turned the battle completely on its head. That was a very impressive hit there by Steggers, although it was, I believe it was that hit there, that was the hit. Looking at it on the replay, that was the hit that completely changed the tide of battle. And, well, Steggers, he just couldn't really recover from that. Flashback, of course, had to use the reset one last time, but, well, after that, it was all them. Steggers immobilized.
A great mirror match from both, but Flashback gets the KO victory. And that also confirms every robot has gained at least 1 point this series, so good job, everyone. Steggers is back in the arena, and they will be taking on Requiem, where the former will try and get their first win.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
It's such a shame that, well, I think at this rate we won't be seeing one of ThatBuilderBoi's machines go through to the grand finals. And, well, come on, Requiem, be nice. Be nice to the dinosaur. I'm a fellow dinosaur lover myself. I love me a bit of dinosaurs. They're cool, they're funny, they're awesome. Well, but Requiem, I don't think it really cares about trivial things like people's opinions. I think it just cares for just battering and brutalizing these metal warriors. And it looks to be doing that so far. Steggers hopping and bouncing about at the minute. Requiem upside down, using the Shremek very effectively though. A very, very swift Shremek. And I think Requiem and Shiken, well, with a machine as impressive as this, as unlucky as this, it really wants to get a win here. Because I feel, well, if it gets in wildcard contention, I think it's a surefire wildcard. The Robots who make it through the wildcards and get into the grand finals. I really do. That egg beater weapon is phenomenal. It is a phenomenal weapon. And Steggers already has suffered so much damage, and a massive hit there. The first really big hit is currently just been Requiem just gnawing away at the dinosaur, gnawing away at the scales, and a huge hit. That almost rivaled Bojangler. Well, a very dramatic exit for Steggers. Such a shame to see them go out. It really was a great machine. Just such a tough heat. A really tough heat. All these machines were really good, and, well, Requiem were just a better machine. But in this replay, I want to get another look at that huge hit. I do wonder, was that hit on par with the one Bojangler got? I mean, it's going to be very close, I reckon. A really, really big hit from Requiem. Really was. Steggers went flying, that's for sure. See you later.
Unfortunate for Steggers going 0-3, but Requiem now jumps to the top of the table, where if Tesseract fails to win their next fight, they could win the heat outright. So it's all up to Flashback in order to play spoiler here. Let's head down to the arena and see this very interesting and high-stakes match.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Well, final heats, the last heat of robot combat competitions are always very high stakes, but it really doesn't get any more high stakes than this. If Flashback wins, they get the wild card. If Tesseract wins, they win the heat. If they don't win, they are out of the competition outright. That is what's at stake here. And I am sure Requiem is watching on, Shiken is watching on as well, as the outcome of this match will determine if it goes through to the grand finals or not. Tesseract is a very, very powerful flipper, but Flashback is a formidable spinner. It's proven to be very destructive against Steggers here. Although Tesseract trying to bring in the big flips here. If Tesseract gets in at the back, those wheels are a little bit exposed at the back there on Tesseract. If Flashback gets in at the back, it can remove a wheel, much like what it did with Steggers. Although Tesseract is not letting that happen. Keeping the front facing Flashback, flipping them around, trying to get even more flips, luring them to under the pulverizers. Flashback hopping and bouncing about. That was a big hit. Oh my lord. That was a huge hit. Oh my lord! Wow, and Flashback nearly got the ring out there, but I think Tesseract narrowly avoided the ring out as well. Both machines want this. This really will determine who stays in the competition. And well, you never know, if you lose here, you could get a wild card position. And I feel, well, both Tesseract and Flashback are pretty good contenders to get through via the wild card. Although Tesseract, they can still win the heat. Flashback unfortunately can't win the heat on points anymore at this point. But I've mentioned it right at the start of the series, how important and valuable the wildcard position is. There are 6 other machines waiting to see the decision, the chance to see who will get in the grand final. That, of course, will be next week. But we are in this week, and this week is Heat G, this week is Tesseract Flashback, and this week has been bloody fantastic. And wow, this is definitely proved to be a very, very good battle thus far. Flashback has suffered the more damage, weirdly enough. I think it's the kinetic force of the spinner, and well, we see bits of the robot strewn across the arena floor, and I think we're approaching the last 30 seconds of the battle. But it could change all very quickly. It really could. It really could. If Flashback gets in a big hit to knock Tesseract out, they could do it. If Tesseract flips them out, they could do it. This is such a high-stakes battle. Really is all to play for. Well, I think with 10 seconds left, unless something major happens in the last moment, it will go to the judges. And it looks like it will be going to the judges. Shiken?
Cease.
Shiken's looking on with nerves. Will his bot go through? Or will Tesseract and Chaotic go through? It really is down to the judge's decision. And this was a great battle. This really was. And either machine could have won it. Duck's machine, Flashback, name blanked me for a second, or Tesseract. That was a major hit. I don't know how both machines were able to survive and still keep fighting after that. I don't know how they were still moving. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best fights of the series by far, in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic. No matter who wins, the victory will be well and truly deserved. Who will the judges go for, I wonder? I really do wonder in this high-stakes battle.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Tesseract. A second judge's decision win for Tesseract moves them above Requiem and gets themselves the heat win. It was a really hotly contested heat, for the most part, but in the end it was a speedy flipper of Tesseract who would take the final confirmed bracket spot. Tune in next week where we will see the wild card be selected and the seeds drawn for the bracket. I've been your host, ThatBuilderBoi, and I'll see you in the grand final.